that time I did another quick 5 questions. This one is on the circulatory system. So as with all my other videos, I'm going to ask a question, you need to pause it, think about what you would write or write down your answer and then play, and you'll see what my idea of a perfect answer is. So starting with, why did single cell organisms not require a circulatory system? The answer to this is because they have a large surface area to volume ratio, so diffusion was sufficient. So the obvious next question is, why do multicellular organisms require a circulatory system? That's because they have a small surface area to volume ratio and diffusion was too slow. What is the difference between a single circulatory system and a double circulatory system? Well, in a single circulatory system, blood flows through the heart and around the body, whereas in a double circulatory system, the blood flows twice to the heart for every once around the body. How many chambers does the heart have, and what are these called? The answer is 4. You've got the left and right atrium and the left and right ventricle. What are the name of the vessels which take blood away from the heart? Those are the arteries. What are the blood vessels which supply the heart? Those are the veins. Describe the passage of blood around the body, starting with the lungs. So oxygenated blood enters the pulmonary vein, where it enters the left atrium. The left atrium contracts and forces blood into the left ventricles. The left ventricles contract and force blood into the aorta. This oxygenated blood travels around the body, delivering oxygenated blood to respiring tissues. Deoxygenated blood returns to the right atria in the vena cava. The right atria contract, forcing blood into the right ventricle. The right ventricle contracts, forcing blood into the pulmonary artery. This deoxygenated blood flows back to the lungs for oxygenation. Are veins oxygenated or deoxygenated? What is the exception to this? Most veins are deoxygenated. The exception for this is the pulmonary vein. Are arteries oxygenated or deoxygenated? What is the exception to this rule? Most arteries are oxygenated. The exception to this is the pulmonary artery. What is the purpose of the valves which lie between the atria and the ventricles? I tend to call these the atrioventricular valves. It stops any confusion with bicuspid or tricuspid or mitral valves, and their purpose is to stop backflow of blood back into the atria. What is the role of the coronary arteries? Well, that's to supply the heart with its own supply of oxygen. What factors increase the chance of having coronary heart disease? First of all, genetics. Next, diet. If you've got a high saturated fat diet, high cholesterol, you're going to increase your chances. Also, lack of exercise and smoking. What happens to actually lead to a heart attack? What steps are involved? First of all, cholesterol builds up in the coronary arteries. This narrows the blood supply, meaning that less oxygen accesses the heart muscle. Less oxygen means that anaerobic respiration takes place. Anaerobic respiration releases lactic acid, and lactic acid denatures enzymes. Eventually the heart muscles die, leading to a heart attack. What changes occur in the body to increase the heart rate during exercise? So remember, more carbon dioxide will build up due to the muscles respiring aerobically. This will be detected by the carotid artery in the neck. This sends a message to the medulla in the brain, which then sends a message to the accelerator nerve, increasing the heart rate. That question will only be applicable to certain exam boards. Next, we're talking about the structure of the vessels in terms of how they supply the organs. So which vessel supplies the kidneys? That will be the renal artery supplying oxygenated blood. Which blood vessel flows away from the kidneys? That will be the renal vein, taking away deoxygenated blood. Which blood vessel supplies the liver with oxygenated blood? And that will be the hepatic artery. What is the name of the vessel which takes blood from the digestive system to the liver? And that will be the hepatic portal vein. What are the 3 components of the human circulatory system? That is the heart, which pumps blood, blood vessels such as arteries, veins and capillaries, and the blood itself. Describe the structure of the arteries. So they have thick muscle and elastic fibre walls. They have narrow lumens and blood flows at high pressure. Describe the structure of the veins. you've got a wide lumen, you've got thin walls made of muscle and elastic fibres, and you have valves which prevent the backflow of blood, hence blood flows at low pressure. Describe the structure of capillaries. Well, they have a very narrow lumen and they have walls which are only 1 cell thick, which means that diffusion can occur nice and quickly. Clearly, blood pressure here will be low. Describe the components of the blood. So you have plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells, which are both phagocytes and lymphocytes, and finally platelets. What sorts of substances does plasma transport? Urea, carbon dioxide, dissolved nutrients, and glucose. How are the red blood cells adapted for their function? Well, they have a biconcave disc shape, which increases the surface area to transport more oxygen, no nucleus, so that they can carry more oxygen, and they contain a special pigment called hemoglobin, which binds to oxygen, forming oxyhemoglobin. What is the role of the phagocytes? Well, they engulf pathogens. What is the role of lymphocytes? Well, they recognise antigens on pathogens and produce antibodies to destroy them. What is the role of platelets? Platelets are small fragments of cells which clot the blood at the site of a wound. And that's everything I wanted to say. I hope you found this quick-fire video helpful. Do like it because it will encourage me to make more videos which are similar if you do find them useful, and don't forget to sub to stay up to date with my latest uploads. Take care guys, bye!